What's going on? One, two, mic check. There we go. Yes. What's going on? Let's make sure we are connected. Let's check this here. Let's see here. Let's see what we got. Am I here? Am I here? One, two. Yes. I got audio, baby. All right. And it sounds like we're good. What's going on, everybody? What is going on? Let me see. Right there, headphones. Yep. Checking all my settings. The worst thing that can happen is going live. Give myself a little bit more volume so I can hear myself good. And then you are just flat out of audio. That really is bad. So what's going on? It's James Hollingsworth on the Working People's Podcast. I had to come live because I've been having various conversations with a few people. I don't know, a couple weeks now. And I'm like, okay, let me just make a video and explain this because as I kind of go through it with some people, they don't quite get it and it doesn't really make sense to them. Or they'll give me, different scenarios or questions that they may have. And it's a little confusing sometimes. So I put together a presentation that hopefully it will bring some enlightenment. And because it will be permanently posted, you can actually go back and you will be able to verify all the information as well as study it, So this is the Working People's Podcast, where everybody desires to build generational wealth and a financial legacy for their families. We are streaming live to Facebook on my personal page, on the Working People's Podcast page. Go ahead, give us a thumbs up, some likes if you come through and start watching, as well as we're streaming live on the Second Friendship Missionary Baptist Church Facebook page. I'm going to jump over there real quick, check audio. Let's go over there real quick and do that. And my brother, Rodney Williams, and the ship. Hey, it's 20 years. It's his 20th year, him and his wife, their 20th year anniversary at the church, Second Friendship Missionary Baptist Church. And next weekend, they're going to be having a special celebration. I'm going to try to make it there after I leave where I got to be at. Come over there and try to share in the fun, the festivities, and the celebration with my brother, Rodney Williams, at the Second Friendship Missionary Baptist Church. And that's the plan, you feel me? That's the plan. But let me go back over here because I just want to double check. I don't know where I get all these settings. Oh, because I'm in the wrong place. That's why. That's why I'm not getting it. Okay, here we go. If you are watching on YouTube, come on through and press that thumbs up, the like button. Give us some hearts, some love, some thumbs up, some comments, and all the above. Let me check the audio. I am on the Facebook page of Second Friendship now. Let me just double check the audio. There we go. Yeah, it got good audio. So I'm happy. So tonight we're going to be talking about a little bit of clickbait. I ain't going to lie. The title is a little bit of clickbaitish, a little bit. It's a little bit of clickbaitish. By that, what I mean is, it says about what I put in the title. Let me see. I put in the title. I ain't gonna lie, it's a little clickbaitish. I put in the title about should you pay cash or something like that. But we're gonna be talking about leveraging debt and opportunity cost. And so the question a lot of people have is, and there's a conversation to be had about it. Should you pay cash for everything? Some people say cash is king, this, that, and third. Then you got this whole movement going on right now, that the dollar is about to collapse for the first time in history. All the above. So many things, so many opinions, so many, different people feel different ways about it. And if you follow Dave Ramsey, I'm all for it. Let's get out of debt. Stay out of debt, manage your debt, whatever the case may be. But we're going to give a presentation. I'll take a few minutes, go through it, about leveraging your debt. And this is a strategy that uses the financial concept and principle of opportunity cost. And it's important that you understand opportunity cost. It's a core financial principle, in my opinion. Well, some people wouldn't call it a core financial principle, but I would, because it's very important that you understand opportunity cost. And if I had to give a definition, let me do that real quick, because maybe some people don't understand. They be like, well, what does opportunity cost mean? So let me do this. I'm going to give you a definition right from Facebook. Not Facebook, but YouTube. So right here, let's share my screen. So you will see what opportunity cost, what the definition means. So opportunity cost is the value of what you lose when you choose from two or more alternatives. So in this case, we're talking about, should you pay cash or should you use credit? Should you use some type of debt instrument to purchase? The example that we're going to use, an illustration that I'm going to give an example of, is going to be purchasing a car. We're going to use it for that, because a car is typically an item that, if you watch certain people, they'll say never ever use credit to pay for a car. So we're going to use the car, the automobile loan, as an example of opportunity cost. So if you take your money, if you have a certain amount of money, should you pay cash for that car? In this case, that's what we're going to use. Or should you take that money, and in this example, we're going to invest that money and then finance the vehicle? That's opportunity cost. So opportunity cost is the value of what you lose when you choose from two or more alternatives. So in this case, do you lose anything on the back end and over time if you pay for the vehicle? In this example that we're going to use, if you pay for the vehicle cash, is there any lost value if you take the money and pay for the vehicle cash? Or if you would go an alternate route, invest those dollars, put a certain small percentage down, and finance the vehicle at a fixed cost. So that's what we're going to look at. So once again, I'll read the definition of opportunity cost, because this is a core, in my opinion, a core financial principle. You definitely need to understand what opportunity cost is, and as it relates to all finances and developing different financial strategies. So it is the value of what you lose when you choose from two or more alternatives. So what we're going to do, let's go through this presentation here. And in this presentation, the foundational principles of finance, we're going to use this particular concept in this strategy, and it is leveraging debt. Exactly what does that mean, and how do we do that? Using the financial principle, of opportunity cost, right? So certain, if you've seen a post on my Facebook page, my personal Facebook page, as well as the Working People's Podcast first Facebook page a few days ago, you would have seen me post about things that you need to kind of learn and understand, right? That investing or saving and just finances in general, personal finances, is no cookie cutter strategy, right? So in that Facebook post, let me kind of go through it. If you go down my page, you'll see it. It says a lot of people ask and want to know a cookie cutter step-by-step formula to investing. But here's the important thing that needs to take place. Here's what needs to be prioritized over how-tos. This takes work, effort, research, and a willingness to learn in order to know how to make the right decisions that are best for you and your personal specific financial situation and your future goals. Most people fail to understand how important it is to know and fully understand how specific principles of money work and operate. And here's a brief list of a few things you should study to know and understand. The rule of 72s slash compound interest, 2, the future value projections, 3, the present discounted value of money, 4, diversification, 5, risk management slash risk analysis and assessment, 6, opportunity costs. So in this presentation, we're going to see, as we look at this principle of finance and how we're going to use this strategy of leveraging debt, understanding how we're going to use the financial principle of opportunity costs, what areas of understanding do we need to have in order to really fully understand how this strategy works? Because there's no cookie cutter. At least we want to try to stay away from necessarily cookie cutter ways of saying do this or do that, right? And we want you to understand certain principles and certain financial strategies so you can implement them into your own personal financial situation, right? And apply them to what your financial goals are. So in this leveraging debt and the financial principle of opportunity costs, there are certain things that you need to study and know and have a pretty good handle on, and a pretty astute level of comprehension regarding. So number one, you need to understand why it's important to pay yourself first, because under that, we're going to look at certain strategies that this are certain financial principles that this strategy uses to make it functional and to make it efficient. So discretionary income. You need to know what discretionary income is. And basically, this is living beneath your means. Whatever your gross income is, then you pay all your taxes, your tithes, or whatever comes out of that, right? 401ks, whatever comes out of that. Then what you have left over after you pay all your bills and everything, after you pay all your bills, as long as you're living beneath your means, what you have left over is your discretionary income. Now, if you're living too high, your debt to income ratio is too high, and most of what you got coming in is going out, then you're not going to really be able to have much discretionary income to really do anything with. So this principle is important to understand, that you have to be disciplined to live beneath your means so that you can have discretionary income for yourself, because this is the only way this works. You have to live beneath your means. So we're going to look at cash flow / earnings. Why that's important. Now, preferably, you should have a good to excellent credit score and a good to excellent credit file. However, in the example that we're going to use a pretty high interest rate of 9% to show you how this leveraging your debt and how this opportunity cost strategy, even at 9%, a high interest rate, can still work and benefit you, right? So the scenario that we're going to use, preferably, we want you to have good to excellent credit score and credit file. But if you don't, we're going to show you how this can still work. Okay. So it's important to understand and really know what the rule of 72 is, compound interest, what Einstein called the eighth wonder of the world. We're going to look at lump sum investments simultaneously with DCA, dollar cost average, a strategy of dollar cost averaging using discretionary income and making sure that we have sufficient cash flow earnings. And then we're also going to look at the amortization schedule with fixed monthly payments that will be on the automobile loan in this scenario. Also, we're going to look at the importance. This is also important to this strategy of opportunity costs. You must have this is heavily, this is heavily dependent upon having risk management in place. And actually, the strategy uses risk management principles or risk management strategies to make sure that you are leveraging properly, so that there's never a time when you're exposed or your financial position is exposed and you have to be concerned about getting foreclosed on or getting what you call it when somebody take it back, whatever. I don't even know what it's called, right? Revoked, not revoked, but repossessed. Repossessed. You won't have to ever worry about that. So The strategies we're going to look at as pertaining to risk management with this financial principle, what falls under that is the strategy of leveraging, why that's important. B, liquidity and equity used as a financial position, right? So we're going to use liquidity and equity as a financial position rather than using the item purchase as collateral. So that's very important. Most people, when they don't have sufficient cash flow, sufficient earnings, and sufficient discretionary income left over, and they just go out and they just say, can I afford to buy this? Can I afford the monthly payment? Most people end up getting in trouble because they're using the item that they purchased as collateral against the loan. Here in this strategy, we're not going to do that. Even though the finance company or whoever financed the vehicle, they use the actual vehicle as collateral against the loan. In your own personal financial position, you are not going to use that for this strategy. You're going to make sure that you have liquidity and equity because we are leveraging this debt, right, with not just discretionary income and earnings and cash flow, but we're going to leverage this debt with liquidity. So also cash flow / discretionary income becomes a part of the risk management strategy, as well as D, equity or additional investments in asset classes that have liquidity that gives us the ability to leverage. All righty? Good deal. Okay, so here we go. Leveraging debt, financial principle of opportunity cost. Okay, so in this scenario, we're going to set the purchase price at $30,000. Okay, so the purchase price is going to be $30,000, right? In this concept, we're going to look at two scenarios. So follow me. In this concept, we're going to look at two scenarios. Scenario one, you have in cash savings $30,000. So you have enough money to actually pretty much purchase the vehicle because the purchase price is $30,000. In scenario two, we're going to make the assumption that you have in cash savings only $10,000, right? As far as savings, we're going to use for scenario two the same down payment, but in scenario two, we're going to just assume that you only have $10,000 in cash savings set aside additional to your down payment. So in both scenarios, we're going to assume that you don't have a top tier credit score, right? You know, like I say, preferably having a good to excellent credit score will work better because then you can get a lower interest rate on the loan, right? So the credit or the borrowed money will cost you less. And that your credit score is slightly below average. Thus, your interest rate on the vehicle loan will be a whopping, for this scenario, 9%. Woo! So before you flip out on me and have a stroke or pop a blood vessel in your neck, I'm going to use this high interest rate to prove a point, okay? Because if I use a lower one or a lower interest rate, naturally some people would cry and complain and say, well, this, naturally it worked out in your favor because the interest rate was so low. So what we're going to do to prove a point and show you that this strategy works, as long as you do it right and use the financial principles that we talked about on slide 1, even at a high 9% interest rate, you can still make this work out in your favor because we're going to use this financial principle opportunity cost. So no one can cry foul. Let's pump that interest rate up to 9%. All righty. You are required to make a 10% down payment. So that's going to be $3,000. So in both scenarios, the down payment's going to be $3,000. We're going to use Michigan sales tax of 6%. So that means sales tax, I believe, is going to be about $1,800. We're going to have our title and registration fee that's going to be put into the loan of $300. We're not going to have a trade-in, and our loan term is 60 months. That'll be 5 years. We're going off the premise that you will still have monthly discretionary income, right? So like I say, this leveraging debt strategy only works if you live beneath your means, you be financially responsible, you exercise discipline in your finances, live beneath your means, and you have discretionary income left over that you're not using all of your discretionary income to go and buy a vehicle or whatever you're going to buy. In this scenario, it's going to be a car, a vehicle, right? So we're going off the premise that you still have monthly discretionary income left over of an additional $400 on top of what your monthly fixed car payment is going to be, right? And nothing is being adjusted for inflation. We're going to use just straight data, straight raw numbers, all right? So there you have our scenario. Like I say, this presentation will remain permanently up on the Facebook page as well as over on YouTube. By the way, subscribe to the YouTube channel, right? Show us how much you appreciate this level of content and information that we're bringing to you, providing value to your financial situation. So here we go. The car loan, $30,000. Remember we said $30,000. Michigan sales tax 6%. It's going to be $1,800, and your title and there it is, your title and registration fee, $300, right? So if you add all of that up and then you subtract your $3,000 down payment, it's going to bring to, these are basic numbers, it's going to bring you to a amount financed of $29,100, all right? So $30,000 plus the $1,800 for sales tax, that'll put you at $31,800 plus $300. That'll put you at $32,100 plus $300 for your tax, for your registration and your fees. And then you're going to subtract your $3,000 down payment. It's going to leave to finance $29,100. Right? So you had $30,000 in this scenario, but you're going to finance the vehicle for $29,100 because you put down $3,000 of your $30,000 that you had. So now you have left over in cash in scenario one, $27,000, right? And we put the interest rate at 9%. So when you amortize this loan over 5 years at a 9% interest rate, your monthly payment is going to be $604.07. Yes, we're using high numbers because I want you to see how this works when we're talking about the principle, the financial principle of opportunity costs, right? So we're going to finance the vehicle at $29,100, and we're going to take the $27,000 that you have left over, and we're going to invest that, and we're going to make the same thing, all things being equal. You have a 9% interest rate on the car, and we're going to do the future value projection on 5 years that you will earn average of 9% on the $27,000 that you're going to invest in some type of, I don't care, ETF, growth fund, whatever, right? But you're going to invest the $27,000. Now, it's going to put you at 5 years financing the vehicle, the $29,100. Your total of 60 loan payments is going to bring you to $36,244.09. So the total interest on the loan, if I did my numbers right, $7,144.09. Yeah. So your total cost after your price and taxes, interest, fees, everything, I did the calculations prior to this, came out to $39,000 at the end of 5 years. You will have paid back $39,244.09. Okay. So I did the numbers ahead of time, all the calculations. So just know that at the end of 5 years, with what you finance, you will have paid back $39,244.09. Right? Somebody say that is ridiculous, but that's what we're going to do. So we looked at the amortization on the car loan. Now remember, it's important to know, this is key to understand. When you finance like a vehicle, the amortization on the loan is naturally, as it's a fixed amount that you pay every month, right? So anytime you make a payment, right, because of how the loan is amortized, because it's a fixed amount that you're paying, right, then it's also a basically the more you pay down the loan, right, as if you would make an extra payment, right, even though your payment would stay fixed, you would actually now be paying less interest, if that makes sense. So if you paid an extra payment on the loan, even though the next payment, now some credit unions and some people, how they would do it is whatever you paid over on your next month, then that will reduce, your fixed payment. It's not like on a house, right? The house is amortized different. It's amortized different than a car. So even on the car payment, when you would make a payment amount, the next month they would reduce. If you paid over, they would reduce your next month's payment by your overpayment. So let's just say your payment was $600, $604, right? And you paid an extra $300, so you pay $900. The next month, your payment will be reduced by the extra $300 that you paid on the amortized car loan. A house payment is not that way. Your fixed payment is going to stay the same on the house. I hope that makes sense. So it does still reduce, because if you get a payment ahead or whatever, right, you can pay the vehicle off, quicker or whatever you could do. But even if you don't, and you stayed on the same schedule and you didn't pay anything extra, right, you would still have paid back with the interest $39,244.09. I hope that makes sense. Hope I'm not making this too confusing. So after 5 years, you will have paid everything off. That's how I put this in a calculator, amortization calculator on Google that I found, right? That kind of showed how you would pay everything off. Okay, so let me get back out of here. Sorry. Okay. So now let's go over to, how much we're going to end up paying back, right? $39,244.09. So now let's go over to the compound interest calculator and show you, if you take the $27,000 that you got left over and you invested it for 5 years, what would happen? So $27,000, and remember we made the assumption that you still had discretionary income left over of $400 every month, right? So let's go ahead and put that in here, $400, and we can adjust this amount too. I'm gonna show you something. 5 years. Estimated interest rate, we're going to go 9%, all things being equal. You're paying 9% for the car, you're earning 9% on your interest. We're going to do a 2% variance, so it'll look at 2% below 7% and 2% above 11%. It's going to give us all three data points. So in 5 years, if you took the $27,000, right, and you added $400 to it for 5 years, in 5 years at 9% interest, if you average that, you will have $70,269.46, right? So you paid back $39,244.09. Get my calculator out. So it says 70,269.46 minus 39,244.09. So you came out ahead $31,025.37, right? If you end up only earning 7% over that 5-year period, you will still come out at $65,472.44. So I'm an advocate of taking the dollars that you would pay for something cash, not missing out on the opportunity cost of investing and earning compounded interest, because on the loan, every time you make a payment, you're reducing your amount that you owe, right? And on an investment, every time you deposit money into your lump sum of $27,000, that money plus the interest you're earning on it is compounding over that 5-year period, if that makes sense. If you looked up and you ended up hitting 11%, you would come out at $75,390.02. That's taking the $27,000 that you have left over. That's $30,000 that you had minus your $3,000 down payment, $27,000 left over. Put that in an investment lump sum, and then adding $400 a month to it. Okay, let's just say you don't have $400 left over. Every month you only got $200. Cut it in half. 5 years, the same, 9%. All things being equal, you will still come out with $55,000 future value projections, $55,906.15. So opportunity cost. As long as you don't spend all your money and you're not using all your discretionary income when you walk into, the place and saying, hey, I want to buy a new car or whatever, a used car, whatever you want to purchase. And they say, well, how much can you afford every month? And you don't tell them all your discretionary income. You tell them you want to pay a certain amount. You're looking at a car for a certain amount. You've done your due diligence. You've done your homework. And you're not giving all of your discretionary extra income to the car dealer or to the lender who's going to, finance the vehicle for you. And you take some of that money and you invest it, right? That's the way this works. You got to have extra cash, extra discretionary income left over. Now think about it. At some point, as you take the $27,000, here you go, right? As you take the $27,000, you add, in this scenario, $200 a month to that $27,000. At some point, there begins to be what they call an inverted, I forgot what they call it, inverted line. What do they call it? Let me see. It's called the intersection of theory of intersected curves. So the curves, as the lines at some point, they kind of start off close together, right? But at some point, they're going to do this, right? At some point, the amount of money that you started with, even if it's less, that's why we're going to use the scenario and show you if you only had $10,000 and you took that lump sum, you still put $3,000 on the car, you had $10,000 to invest. At some point, the money that you owe does this, the money that you're investing does this, and they meet, boom, right? And at some point, that debt becomes leveraged with the cash that you have invested, right? So the whole point is leveraging the debt, right? At some point, as you're paying down the automobile loan, but you took a lump sum amount and invested it, and you added to it every month, and you're earning an interest rate, even if it's equal to the amount that you're paying on the vehicle, at some point, those two figures intersect, and that loan becomes leveraged with the invested dollars, right? So even if something happened, you still would have the cash to pay it off in full. But all things being equal, as long as you're living beneath your means, right, and you're not using all of your discretionary income to pay for the vehicle, then that debt will not be exposed to just your risk of earnings as you make money, or, if something happens at your job, right? So the whole point is the debt at some point will be leveraged by the cash that you're investing and saving, right? That you're earning interest on your dollars that you're investing, but you're paying down the loan at a fixed monthly amount every month. Yes. So we say we're going to do a scenario 2. You still had $3,000 that you put down on the vehicle, right? So the same amounts you financed, you still going to pay back at 5 years on the vehicle, $39,244.09. In this scenario, though, we're going to look at and say, well, let's just say you only had $10,000. God, I hope I'm not going too fast and this is making sense to you. So you had $10,000 to invest. We're going to go back to the original $400 of discretionary income that you have left over. and you do this for 5 years, same 9% interest rate, we're going to put the 2% variance on it. So we'll look at 7% as well as 11% and the 9%. You still come out ahead, right? If you took just $10,000 and added $400 a month to it, you still come out ahead. You paid back $39,244.09, but your cash starting at $10,000 and adding $400 a month to it and earning 9% interest, $44,112.85. So let's break out the calculator again. $44,112.85 minus the 39,244.09. You still came out $4,868.76 in the green. Now you have a vehicle that's paid off after 5 years, and you have $44,112.85 in your savings. The same scenario though exists as you pay down the loan and you have your dollars that you're earning compounding interest on. At some point, those two lines, they connect and intersect, and you have that debt. It will be leveraged with the cash that you are investing during that 5-year period. Makes perfect sense to me, right? Makes perfect sense to me. Let's go to $200. Now, this is going to come up a little bit under, right? I'm sure it is. But check it out. Check out the principles. It remains the same. So you took the $10,000, you added $200 a month to it for 5 years. Check this out. Okay, you paid back $39,244.09 on the loan, but you'll have $29,749.55 in your investment saved in cash at the end of 5 years, taking $10,000 and adding $200 a month to it by having some discretionary income left over. So the principle basically is this, right? Yes, if you pay, all things being equal, we did 9% on the interest rate for the automobile loan, and we did make the assumption that you're going to earn 9% on the investment over a 5-year period, and we projected the numbers. So the whole philosophy is this. What most people tend to do, let me come out of here. What most people tend to do is they take all of their money, they say, oh, I need a car. And they take all of their money and they buy the car. And then at the end of 5 years, they have a depreciated asset that's not worth what they paid for it, because automobiles typically depreciate unless you're going out, which most of us not doing, and buying Lamborghinis and stuff like that, right? And Bugattis. We're not doing that, right? And Ferraris. So at some point, you'll pay the vehicle off, but you'll have zero money saved. You have a car that's 5 years older than it was the day that you bought it. It's a depreciating asset. And at the end of 5 years, you have nothing to show for it. Most people, they get dissatisfied at the point that they paid the vehicle off. They might drive it for another year. I doubt if they drive it for another 2 or 3. Then they'll get the itchy fingers, as my mama used to say, that any money that they do have will start burning a hole in their pocket. And now they'll become dissatisfied with the vehicle that they just paid off. And now they got to go and do another one, right? But if you follow this philosophy of opportunity cost, leveraging every debt, and go through this strategy that we just took you through and say, okay, I'm not going to expend all my discretionary income on a vehicle, right? However, I am going to take the cash that I do have, whether it's the $30,000 minus the $3,000 down payment, that you'll have $27,000 lump sum that you'll invest and then add to it every month. Or in this second scenario that we ran, you only had $10,000. But as long as you have some discretionary income, right, and you're investing those dollars, then the principle of opportunity cost works in your favor, because now, although you did not pay cash for the vehicle, and you did incur, in our scenario, a really extremely high interest rate, you still came out ahead because at the point of 5 years you paid off the vehicle, you still had a lump sum of cash in your pocket, as well as at some point as you were paying down off the loan and paying down the loan, you began to have that debt that was leveraged by the cash that you were investing. So the opportunity cost and the scenario is, it works great as long as you don't live above your means. As long as you're living beneath your means, you have discretionary income left over, and you're going to take the lump sum of money and you're going to invest it. That's the whole way this works. You have to decide that you're going to take the lump sum of money and invest it. Even if you had, let's go back to this. Even if you had zero you were starting off with, check this out. Even if you had zero that you were starting off with, and you had that $400 that we talked about, discretionary income left over after making your $604 and whatever amount of cents car payment every month, you still had $400 left over, and you invested that for 5 years, starting from zero lump sum. You earned the same 9% interest rate. At some point, that loan is still going to get leveraged as you're paying it down. Because look, at the end of 5 years, you'll have just under, at $28,726.61, just under what your original amount financed was. So at some point, when you start paying off the loan, you're still going to have enough money that's going to leverage that debt at some point, once you get it paid down so much, because you're paying down the loan and you're earning compounded interest on your dollar cost average, your amount that you're investing monthly. So it works as long as you don't live above your means. It works as long as you take your discretionary income and invest it, and it works as long as you you decide not to take your extra money that you are, that you have left over, and using all of it to pay on an automobile loan, a tractor loan, or a camper or a boat or whatever it is that you want to purchase. It really don't matter. We just said an automobile in this example. It could be a camper, it could be a boat, it could be a motorcycle, whatever. As long as you're not using all of your discretionary income dollars, this strategy works. And it's a great strategy. It's a beautiful. So I'll just tell you all this in a nutshell. I use this strategy consistently, and I've really gotten very good at it. So there is no, I have a mortgage on my home. I have a loan on my truck. The Camaro is paid off. I think that's about it. I don't have zero on my credit cards. I talked about that in a previous video. Even though I have 15 credit cards, I don't carry any balances over. I don't revolve any balances on my credit cards, right? So I use my credit cards just like a debit card, but it has benefits that I have access to that you won't get with a debit card, or you won't get with cash. So every debt though that I have is leveraged. Every debt, the mortgage is leveraged. The truck loan is leveraged, right? Because I use this strategy. I don't ever, live above my means. I always make sure I got discretionary income left over. And as I mentioned in a previous video, I'm not paying anyone more interest on something that I'm paying to myself. As well as I don't have anything that I have a monthly payment on, not my mortgage, not my truck loan, zero, nothing. The electric company, gas, nothing. I don't have a payment on anything that exceeds a payment that I am putting it into savings and investments for myself. And as long as you follow that rule of thumb, you can use credit and you can use debt and leverage it properly, and you can use it efficiently to benefit you so that you could take advantage of opportunity costs. Because one thing that compound interest needs to work in your favor is time, right? And if you are taking all of your dollars and saying, well, I'm just going to save up until I can pay cash for it, you do all of that saving up, you end up paying cash for something. So not only did you miss out on the opportunity cost of what your money could grow into being if you invested it over that time frame that you were saving it up to purchase that high ticket item, but even once you took the money and you put it and you purchased that item, in this case of automobile, motorcycle, whatever it is, when you took those dollars that you saved and you spent it on that item, then you also lost out on opportunity costs a second time, because now those dollars could have been invested, taken as a lump sum and added to it. So you missed out on opportunity costs twice, 2 times. So time is the element of compound interest along. So that's what makes takes some of the risk out of. That's why we put it as a risk management factor here, because time, along with the dollar cost average strategy, along with having the discretionary income, but time is what you need to compound your money. So at 15%, money doubles every 4.8 years, right? At 12%, money doubles every 6 years. At 9%, 8%, 9%. No, at 8%. At 8%, I believe money doubles every 9 years. So time is needed to compound your money, because as you take your money and invest it, it's not just your principal that begins to grow, but it's the interest that's earned on your money. So now your interest begins to earn interest, and the interest that's being earned on the interest that's earned on the interest that earned interest all compounds over the selected period of time, and that begins to grow. And that's how you'll be able to leverage every debt and use opportunity costs in your favor. But if you take your time, the aspect of time, and you just say, well, I'm just going to save up all this money cash to pay for it, then actually what you're doing is you are giving up one of the most favorable factors in financial, in the whole financial principles, and the principles of finance, which is time. You're giving that up and losing out on the potential growth of your money. But that's just how I feel about it and what I personally do. And I guarantee you it works. You know, I know you may have to go back and watch this video maybe twice to really get it and understand it, because I know, you know, as I explain it, to me, I get it. It's, you know, I understand it. To me, in my head, I understand it perfectly. I get it. But I've talked to so many people about this particular thing and they don't really understand it. So hopefully watching this video or making this video kind of explains it a little better, especially when I showed some of the numbers and showed some of the data and actually showed some of the, you know, the principles that go into effect using this strategy. And hopefully you'll get some value out of watching this video. I really hope so. So I am about to sign off now. Let me go and double check. I don't know if anybody left any comments over on the Second Friendship page. Don't know, just checking there. Let me go back over here. But yeah, if you found any value in this video, as you've probably seen beneath the videos on the Facebook page, you can leave stars if you'd like to do that. Help support the channel so I can continue. If you're getting any value out of it, that's a great way to support the channel, as well as helping with the algorithm by pressing the like button, leaving comments as well. If you have a problem going through trying to find some of the older videos, a great place to go and find the videos is over on YouTube, because they are actually categorized, cataloged. That's probably a better word of saying. They're catalogs where you can actually go and see all the videos, and you can watch whatever video that you want to watch that we've ever made. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it. And I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. I got to go. I got to go. But you can, like I say, help my brother out. If you find value in these videos by sharing it with your friends and family, send it directly to them through their messenger. Tell them, hey, you need to watch this so you can understand opportunity costs and how compounded interest and time works in your favor and all of that stuff. So I got to go. Signing off. Thanks for watching. See you later next time.